Hey everyone, welcome to Nerds Talk. I'm Mike,
I'm Chris.
and today we are going to be discussing the Ubisoft Forward or Ubisoft live stream that they did, discussing a bunch of their games that are coming out, some this year and I guess some next year. So we'll just give you our thoughts on what was announced, kind of run through that. But for those who are not familiar with what we do here in the Nerds Talk community, Chris and I like to generate a community for all of our fans that is very family oriented. And with that being said, we love your support. So if you'd like to support us, so click that subscribe button, like the video, drop a comment below. Also, make sure to share with your friends. The more the word gets out, the more content that we can create and the more that we can grow. So we definitely appreciate that. So let's get right into it. So Ubisoft did a stream today. Some of the big games we expected them to kind of come out with. Assassin's Creed. There was rumored at a new Far Cry game. There was talks about potential new Tom Clancy game. They have so many IPs in that genre, right?
Sure.
So we expected to see something there. But there was a lot of will we see Gods and Monsters? Will we see Beyond Good and Evil 2? And will there be a brand new announcement, maybe a new Nintendo collaboration? So, there was I want to say maybe 10-ish games that were discussed during this stream. Nothing completely took me by surprise, but I mean, what are your thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I agree. Everything that we kind of expected did come up. We thought there might be maybe a little surprise announcement, but no huge surprises. Some games took up probably about 3/4 of the actual. There's a few games, probably 3 or 4, that took up about 3/4 of it, and the rest were just quick little snippets. But it was still well done and at a decent pace.
Absolutely. So, I mean, they opened up with Watch Dogs Legion.
Yes.
I think they spent a little too much time on this game because, this game was supposed to be out early this year. It got delayed multiple times, and, I expected it to probably come out next year. It turns out it's coming out October of this year. But they kind of went through the same stuff we saw. You can recruit anyone in the city. They all have different abilities. They showcased a mission in a couple different ways, but then they did that again later on where they showcased another mission with a couple different people doing the same thing and how they can do it differently. And we already got that concept from when they first announced the game and they went through that. And for them to kind of redo that again didn't really show anything new, at least nothing that I could see. There's a construction worker they showed. They showed the old lady again. They showed like a hitman style. So if you want to go in, and you want to have a traditional, sneaky killing, good with a gun kind of person, and nothing kind of out of the ordinary. You have a hacker, which is like Watch Dogs kind of forte. Wasn't anything special. I mean, it looked pretty, but again, it was just more of the same. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, they just pretty much recycled everything that they had already teased and all the trailers that they kind of showed. I got quite, it was quite boring to see the same mission over and over again. We got the point pretty quickly. And then after, showing multiple missions over and over again, they went into the, development and some background with one of the developers. But they spent way too much time on that game. And didn't show anything new or tell us anything new other than the official date, the new date that they're releasing it at.
Yeah, they jumped into like the story where like here's the main villain, some like a small security company that they kind of hired because the government was trying to take over to kind of take control. But then obviously they decided, well, we want to rule the world, and kind of ran with that control and is essentially like I guess you call it like a communist style, I don't know, you do what we say kind of mentality, but
they show the mobster style too. So it's like two factions, the government run one, the mob run one, and then us or them in the middle, the watchdogs in the middle.
Yeah. So I mean, more of the same. Great. I'm glad to have another Watch Dogs game. I love the whole hacking idea of it, but nothing super interesting. I'll probably wait for this game to drop on sale at this point. I don't think it's
and honestly they could have cut that way down. Maybe show the mission a couple times and then show who the main protagonists are and the main bad guy there, all that stuff, and then just cut it really quick.
Yeah, I completely agree. Excuse me. They jumped into some other games here. So they went into some Tom Clancy stuff. They had like
I think that was a mobile game that they're doing, right? That looked actually pretty interesting. At least the trailer made it look interesting.
Are you talking about the Elite Squad?
Yeah, with the
Yeah,
Splinter, yeah,
and they had the
Tom
Splinter Cell
Clancy's.
guys show up and some other
Yeah,
characters and stuff, and it looked like it looked like a battle royale style game, right? But I
yeah.
mean, we didn't there wasn't too many details on it. But we found out that that wasn't their uh, battle royale style game. They ended up coming out with another game by the name of Hyperscape,
Yes.
which looked beautiful. Very, very cool, crisp graphics. They had this cool like disintegration effect when you got shot, and it looked like one or two shots you're gone. It's not like
Yeah, it's not
Halo
like you
or
can take a lot
multiple
of
hits. Yeah.
damage and cover and recoup that way. Yeah,
And the idea is that you're living in this society where you can jump into VR, which is what they call the hyperscape. It's sort of like that brand new internet for all the new people, and that kind of gets you to this new world because they're living in the year 2025 or 2052 or something like that.
2050. Yeah,
Yeah,
2052 or 2053, something like that.
yeah. And so you're in the future, and it's like the city is not as great. There's a lot of issues and all this kind of stuff, but they're very technological advanced. So you jump into this VR world, and it's like bam, all this stuff's kind of going on, and the main part of this VR world is this battle royale type idea where you go in, you get to fight, shoot, kill things, blow things up, and because it's VR, no one actually gets hurt.
Right.
You can go back to your day-to-day lives. So it was a cool idea on the idea of you're playing a battle royale, but it's not like you're actually killing someone. It's digital. But then you find out that some people are hacking the system and that some people are getting hurt. So there's this underlying story behind it. So I'm kind of interested to know, is there going to be like a single player game to this
Campaign
in
kind of
addition to the
thing.
battle royale?
Yeah,
Like here's the multiplayer mode is battle royale, but then there's an actual like first person or third person shooter story to it, and that intrigued me because I'm like, I'd be down to get through a story and then and then there's this more battle royale with what look like abilities versus
yes.
building. I
They
was
call them
hooked.
hacks, and
Yeah,
it's like you could be a bouncy ball or you can,
teleport.
teleport. Yeah, and so there's lots of different hacks that you can come up or come across while you're playing the game. It kind of reminded me of the movie Ready Player One, where all
Mm-hmm.
those VR, they're living in a small space. It's in the future. They
Yep.
get to play VR and they're trying to win money or crown or whatever it may be to get glory and live a better life. So it kind of reminded me of this, but it's with you know a lot more action. And I like the gameplay that they showed. Is like swords, so you can
Yeah.
be fast ninja type or a melee or gun. So there's a lot of different options. So it's gonna pique a lot of different player types as well.
Yeah, and to know that like okay, you're bringing like people said like you're bringing a sword to a gunfight, but yet you
Yeah,
can still be viable with like teleporting and appearing, and then like again, it's like one hit kills. Whether you swing them with a sword, it's just like getting up close with a shotgun or far away with a sniper rifle. There's different ways of approaching situations, and to go really really quick with like a blade or to probably have some other weapon archetypes. It sounds pretty interesting. I think this is one that I probably will want to dive in. They talked about having a beta. Um,
for
I probably want to
PC.
give it a
Yeah,
go, but it's only on PC right now, so I'll have to
yeah, for
wait
the
till
beta.
it's available on console. But yeah, it looks fun.
And yeah, and it had crisp, clean graphics too, so it looked very interesting. Something kind of newer. So especially if they have that campaign with the battle royale, it would be very interesting.
Absolutely. Then they jumped into Brawlhalla, and it's going to be coming to mobile now, so you can
Yeah,
play. There's over, was it 50 heroes or 150 heroes? I can't remember.
I think they said over 50 heroes.
Yeah, and so that's great. So you can play that on mobile and play it. I don't know if it's cross play with like console and stuff, but it's definitely you play it wherever you want. You talked about Might and Magic Era of Chaos, another card style
Card
game.
magic. Yeah,
So that was that. Then they talked about Rainbow Six Siege Operation Steelwave. So I guess it's like an expansion for the existing game. They kind
yeah.
of
I guess they were
grew
thanking everyone for 6 years. I guess they're celebrating their 6 year and having 60 million or
60 million players. Yeah.
60 million players. So that was a little thank you tribute to them, showing how they started and where they're at now.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like a celebration for that and talking about the DLC there that they did.
Yep, and then they focused on towards the end. It was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which we all expected there to be there. Assassin's Creed is a huge IP for them, just like Far
Yeah,
Cry and a couple of other ones. The Tom Clancy games, depending on which flavor of the month they have. Some do sell more than others. But yeah, the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, they actually showed gameplay this time. They kind of showed
yeah,
you what it's like, your decision making, and how it affects later on in the game, which I like that aspect, that our role playing style of you might choose to kill someone or let them live, and then if you let them live, they may join you or they might become an enemy down the road. So there's a lot of different ways of how you approach the game, and you can completely open or close off different missions. So I'm all for that. They talked about like
definitely.
village, like building up your village. you know, building shops and stuff like that, and that's going to give you new
raiding
abilities
and
and stuff.
yeah, all
Yeah.
these different things like raiding villages and you know, so they probably spent almost probably I would say the same amount of time on Watchdog as they did,
Yes.
but it didn't feel as repetitive or as long
No.
or overdrawn when they were talking about Assassin's Creed. So I actually enjoyed the detail that they went in, you know, showing the gameplay, the different battle types and architects, and you know, they kind of talked about they remodeled the fighting that they did and the battling. So
Yes.
it's
New
very
combat
cool.
system.
Yeah, it was very cool to see their new combat system with you know throwing axes or having the big swords and
Yes.
the battle cries and the boats and everything. It just looks like it's going to be so so good.
Yep, they talked about like the abilities. How you can find them, like finding scrolls and learning like these ancient stuff. And then you get these abilities, and you choose which abilities you're going to essentially equip. So again, different builds. You have both melee or short range and long range. I guess ability where you can map them to buttons. I guess. It looks like from the interface, there's 8 abilities you can have equipped at a time. And then depending on the weapons that you find and you get new weapons, the more you use it, the better you get with them. So it's not like you just pick a weapon and you can just use it like in the previous Assassin's Creed games. You have to work at it to do more damage or maybe unlock some new abilities or get faster with it and stuff like that. They mentioned you can dual wield any combination, including
Right,
dual
even two
shields.
swords and or two shields. So
Yeah,
yeah, that was
yeah.
pretty cool
So
to
I'm
see.
like, that's awesome. I like that ability to kind of have that option. Whereas, you know, in the previous Assassin's Creed games, Origins specifically, you know, they had dual-handed weapons, or you had a shield and a sword, or you can get dual swords. But you're kind of limited to if you're using this weapon, this is how you're going to be equipped. If you're using the hammer, it's going to be a dual-handed weapon. Where now it's like, no, you know, if you work at it, you can have like a hammer in one hand and a flail in the other or something like that, and go nuts and go and be really quick at attacking, or have a heavy and a quick weapon depending on how you want to approach the battle. So I really like the openness of how you want to play.
Yeah,
You know,
customize.
yeah, customize whether you're a guy or a girl, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that was cool as well.
Just your name's the same. Whereas in the Odyssey, it was you could be Alexios or Alexa for the guy or girl version of it. And they kind of had different ways they approached the story missions. Obviously, they were talked to with different names, obviously, because they're male and female. But in this one, it's the same name, whether you're the guy or the girl. It's the same
That's
name
right.
regardless. So everything is directed to that character, whether you're a guy or a girl doesn't really matter, I guess. I guess we'll find out with the decisions and how that gets affected down the road. But I thought it was really well done. A lot of options to do, and it's not just go there, get on the tower, see the area, a bunch of small side quests, and move on. There's, like you said, there's these raids and like battles. There's building up your town. There's hunting, obviously. There's finding lore and stuff to get new abilities
Making
and
allies and stuff like that. Because
yeah,
you know, if you
bringing
go into a
allies
big
in.
battle, they show how you have to, you know, first make allies in order to get a big enough clan or whatnot to battle different people and take different lands, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then they talked about like depending on who you leave, like as the leader in each new town and stuff you kind of take over will help like establish your village, and I guess you'll have new I don't know, merchandise you can buy or new things available to you, depending on how many of these cities are under your control and who's leading them and kind of how that affects the economy. So you're building more of the world itself, which, you know, Vikings, you always think about they're there and just tore things down, but they're essentially looking for a new way of life for them to survive. So it's really cool to kind of see that idea of it, and then how they're going to sprinkle in the, you know, animus and, you know, the traditional Assassin's Creed story. It's going to be pretty interesting. So I'm really excited, a lot more now after this showing than I
Yeah,
was at the Xbox showing, you know, a couple months ago.
yeah, I agree. I'm the same. I'm really interested to pick this up and play it.
Absolutely. So that was a great way to end it. And then we saw the CEO, Yves Guillemot, to come out and kind of talk to everyone and say, you know, we are doing the Ubisoft forwards. I hope you liked it. We will have another one coming
That's right.
shortly.
Yeah. So
We're
there
showing
there
more
is more that
games.
they're going to announce. Yeah, with the
Yes.
next forward.
Yeah, and instead of doing like an hour and a half, like a long E3 and trying to pack as many announcements as you can in, which would have been great to kind of get more stuff shown, they got to go a little deep dive on a little bit, and then and they're kind of doing the Nintendo Direct. There'll be more coming down in another month or two. We do another one with more games that you probably were expecting that didn't get shown here.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. And then he did the whole Nintendo and one more thing, and then they kind of surprised. It was expected, but the Far Cry 6 reveal was there. The rumor was that Giancarlo, I can't remember his last name now, but the actor has kind of been in everything. Breaking Bad. He's
Yes.
been in what was it,
The
Mandalorian
Mandalorian season. Yeah.
as
Yeah.
Moff
First
Gideon,
season.
and he's done a great as villain, and so it makes sense he's going to be the
Definitely.
new Far Cry villain. Great job. So they showed a scene between him and his son, and kind of how that's kind of going, and it
Looks
was
very
really well
interesting.
done. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I enjoyed it. He is a perfect character to be created as a villain. He typically plays villains and he plays them quite well.
Hmm.
Well educated that way and a great actor. And the graphics, it was hard to tell if it was an actual video of them or a scene from the game, but definitely top notch and I'm looking forward to it. And that scene alone was pretty interesting to show
Oh
how the
man.
game might turn out.
Yeah, he apparently talked about. I don't know if it was an interview. It was just like an aside on Twitter or something like that. But basically, had mentioned that they were doing. He didn't announce what game it was. Basically, he was working on a game, and they used like new technology, a new way of doing it that he's never done before. Like, is a brand new way of doing motion capture and stuff because it was all
Cool.
COVID. It's all remote and stuff,
Yeah,
and when we saw it, I was like,
yeah,
wow, that looks like a movie. It does not look like animated. It looks like a TV show. Like that's actually him. And then there's a
yeah,
certain moment where it's like, okay, looks gamey again. But that first shot when you finally see his face and you're looking at him, it looked so real. I was amazed. And again, next gen. They talked about a partnership with Microsoft when talking about Assassin's Creed
yeah,
and smart delivery and all that stuff. So we know that that's kind of the go-to with Microsoft. They weren't really happy with 2K's upcharge to get the newer version. They were in the news in 2K. I think it was their basketball game. Was saying that yeah, you can get it on the current gen systems, and then if you want to get it for the next gen system, you have to pay like a fee to get the newer version. So Microsoft was not happy about that, and so they put out a statement saying all next gen upgrades should be free. There shouldn't be a cost for it. Like that's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to show. Like backwards compatibility. It doesn't matter. You buy a copy of the game. That game
yeah,
goes with you on whatever version. And just like a PC, if you buy a PC copy and you upgrade your PC, you get the better graphics automatically. There shouldn't be a difference because it's on a console from PS4 to PS5 or Xbox One to Xbox Series X, for example. So I
yeah.
like that. I like that. They came out strong and were like, yeah, Ubisoft, like we're doing the smart delivery. We're not charging you, and these games are going to have that feature. So I was really excited for that, and it makes me feel good that if there is a great deal and I want to buy it now, I don't have to worry
Yeah.
about having to play it on my current system. I can play it on the next gen whenever I invest in that.
Exactly, and it'll help people buy those games and actually invest and spend their money, especially after everything that's going on. It's just a smart way of doing business. It shows great faith in the company.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I've always liked Ubisoft games in general.
Yeah,
They used to have license for some other IPs like Ninja Turtles and some other offshoots. They did Rayman and some stuff like that. I mean, they own that Rayman IP, but they partnered up with the other companies to do other games, and they've always had a great family aesthetic to the majority of their games. And I've always enjoyed the quality of their games and whatnot. So I'm looking forward to the next forward to see, are they going to dive into Gods and Monsters, which is a lot of people. They thought they were going to get criticism of it being a lot like Breath of the Wild, but a lot of people were excited that they had this open world cartoony like event, and now it's like Greek gods and stuff like that, and like the mythology there, and running around and kind of going through another Breath of the Wild style game, at least visually.
yeah, yeah.
I'm definitely in for it. I like to see actual gameplay of that, and not just the cinematic movie of a monster kind of coming up and kind of cutting the black. So I'm hoping that we'll get that in the next direct, plus maybe a new Nintendo collaboration, but. Is there anything you're anticipating or anything that you're excited for?
No, I was kind of hoping they get the license back for a Ninja Turtles IP, but I
Yeah.
believe that's still with Warner Brothers and all that gaming.
Nickelodeon.
So yeah, Nickelodeon. So don't think that will happen, but if they do a collaboration, they've done good games in the past that way, so it would be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah. Overall, great job, Ubisoft. I am really excited for Assassin's Creed. I want to give Hyper Escape a shot. Far Cry looks awesome
Hmm.
as always, and
Yeah,
Watch Dogs. I'll probably give it a go at some point in time, but I probably won't be buying it day one.
yeah,
Yeah, can't wait for the next wave of Ubisoft Forward game announcements. Let's hope that comes soon enough. And just as a side, I think it would be awesome if WB Games came out and or just Warner Brothers period and came out and said, here are a bunch of the games we're working on, because we know that there's
Yeah,
rumor of Harry
they've been
Potter.
really quiet. I haven't heard too much from them.
Yeah, like
No,
Rocksteady has a game. We know that WB Games Montreal, I think, has a game. Batman, another different Batman or some game, or just a Suicide Squad. There's that talk about that, right? One of the two companies doing Suicide Squad. Man, give one of those companies, Rocksteady, give them the Ninja Turtles IP. Let's go. Let's make something really
maybe
good. Like,
something, right? Like
yeah,
an old school type game or whatever, you know. They need
yeah.
something new and fresh.
Is Lord of the Rings with WB as well? Do you know?
I am not sure, actually, to be honest with you.
Because that's the thing, like if that is with WB, like they could do their own little direct and talk about like a new Lord of the Rings game, the Harry Potter game that's been being worked on for the past like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah,
A potential new Ninja Turtles game, Batman, all that kind of stuff. Just like they could have a bunch of announcements. And of course they have Telltale, who Traveler's Tales, that does the Lego games, right? But that's under the WB banner
yeah,
anyway, right? So
yeah.
that'd be really cool if they could get that kind of going, and have some new games there. We also didn't hear about the Skywalker Lego game, the final like saga one that's supposed to have all of the Lego games in it.
Yeah, it's officially out now.
Is it out now?
Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah,
say
it's
it was supposed to
officially
come
out
out in
now.
the summer. I didn't see a trailer, an announcement for it. I was expecting to see
Yeah,
something coming on that.
they did like a little thing on it way back, and then not a peep since, and it's been officially released now. So,
Wow, I was gonna ask if it
uh,
was delayed, but wow.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we'll have to check that out then, and maybe get some some Star Wars gaming in at this point. But yeah, it's an interesting time, man.
definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
but there you have it, folks. That's our thoughts on the Ubisoft Forward. There were some great announcements there. There were some things that could have been done better. Overall, I think that we are excited at the majority of the showing that they had for
Yeah,
everything. We're really excited for next gen, and let us know what you think. Drop a comment below. Let us know what you were most excited about, what you were upset that wasn't shown, and what you're anticipating for their next Ubisoft Forward. We definitely love to hear your comments, so leave a comment below. If you have any thoughts on maybe some other topics you'd like us to cover other than games and Star Wars, if there's some superheroes or something else specifically you'd like us to cover, shoot us an email at nerdstalkinfo@gmail.com, and we'd love to touch base with you that way as well. And as always, friends, stay nerdy.
stay nerdy.